Hey, happy Thursday, everybody. Mark again here, Weatherman Plus. Good morning to all of you. Now, I'm going to give you the track and impacts of what we have on Tropical Storm Fiona. And I'm still showing that we have chances for it to go west. All these ensembles you see for it going north, these are all GFS. All these is Euro, and the other ones, as well as the ones still going to the west. Now, even though you see this curve right now, take this with a grain of salt. This is only the first couple advisories. There will be many more, and this cone will shift. So I'm going to give you the impacts up to the 5 days and show you what could be coming later on. So if anybody tells you this is not going into the Gulf, just don't listen to them. Turn the video off. The Gulf is still in play. Florida, the Bahamas, the southeast of the U.S., that's still in play, and it can still go out and curve if the GFS is correct. Now that's all because the GFS sees this trough that we have coming down and going up. And that's what's pulling this, is this high ridge pulling it up. But if it goes slower, because GFS is going slower than just say the Euro, this will pass by and it will be a trough this way, blocking it where it can go a little further west, going over all these islands, all these mountains, tearing it up, weakening it down, allowing it to go further west. And when this trough passes by, if it don't come as quick as the Euro is showing, that the ridge on the west side will pull this further to the west, maybe the southeast of the U.S. So it's not out of play. I will keep you updated this afternoon. I will do an update every afternoon now. I think about every 10, 12 hours. We need to know what's going on with this. And usually I don't upload Friday from sundown to sundown Saturday because that's Sabbath. But there are going to be lives at risk. So I will be uploading Friday as well and Saturday. Now, there's going to be mudslide chances. There's going to be flash flooding chances for the Leeward Islands, the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic. Even still chances for it to go towards the Bahamas, Florida, and our Gulf. It's still too early to know where this storm is going. So I'll give you the best information I can find and show you what the more than likely outcome will be. Still, we can only take this 3 to 5 days at a time. This is going to change dramatically. And right now, Tropical Storm Fiona is moving fast. It is moving west at 13 miles per hour with 51 miles per hour sustained winds. And it is very strong, and the intensity is still unknown by National Hurricane Center because it could still strengthen up or it could weaken down because of these islands and travel further west and strengthen up later. And here's a shot that we have this morning. We had this group of thunderstorms, a lot of convection in front of Tropical Storm Fiona. This is bringing y'all some rainfall to the northern Leeward Islands before Tropical Storm Fiona comes your way. But you do have all this dry air in front of it, and this little storm is not connected to Tropical Storm Fiona, but it has a lot of convection, very strong this morning all the way around the center, and it will be moving west for a couple of days. And when you look for the next 5 days in the Atlantic, you see all we have is Fiona. The next wave, they already taken it off the table. Maybe they'll put it back on later on because it is moving slow. But still, all they have is Fiona for right now. And remember, these links are in the description for you to go check out for yourself. And they have put out tropical storm watches out for the northern Leeward Islands. And this will turn into tropical storm warnings from the information I see. And then you'll get tropical storm watches for Hispaniola as well as Puerto Rico after that. But tropical storm conditions are possible in portions of the northern Leeward Islands by Friday night, where a tropical storm watch has been issued. Heavier rains will begin to affect the northern Leeward Islands late Friday, spreading into the British and U.S. Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico over the weekend. Now, this rainfall may produce isolated flash and urban flooding, along with isolated mudslides in areas of higher terrain. Now, so far, this is your intermediate advisory for September 15th for Thursday. And I say that because there will be many advisories. Matter of fact, this cone will change. We had 2 other storms that came this way, and the cone changed so much, it was unbelievable. This cone is not set in stone yet, guys. There will be more addition. This piece right here is within the next 3 days, and this other piece added to it is the next 2 days to give it to 5 days. So the 3 days are confident about. What's going to change is the 4th, 5th day and beyond. We don't know that part yet. And you can see this from the intensity guidance. This is from Levi Cowan. He's a genius, very smart meteorologist. He has his own website. But you go to Tropical Tidbits, link in the description. You can see all this information on Fiona. So in the next 72 hours, more than likely will still be a tropical storm, maybe a strong tropical storm. But as you go towards 5 days, where it's going by Puerto Rico, Hispaniola, it is growing in strength. Some of the ensembles are showing it could be a Cat 1 hurricane by then. And most of them are saying by day 6 or day 7 that it will be a hurricane. And the updates this morning has gone further to the south. So you can see as it goes by northern Leeward Islands, it could be anywheres in this cone. It could be further to the west. It could be further to the east, more north, more south. And if it's anywhere in this cone, it's still got impacts outside of this cone. So this cone is not just the cone of impacts neither. But as you go by the Virgin Islands, it goes by Puerto Rico a little bit further to the south. And according to this one, it will turn further north of the Dominican Republic. Now, Dominican Republic has mountain ranges, and they're all 10,000 feet high. They tear apart cyclones. Matter of fact, the trough that's coming in with the high ridge is very high as well in altitude. So if this storm does not strengthen right around the 500 millibar level, it's not able to form because it's getting tore up by these mountains. It will not be pulled into that trough. If it just stays lower to the 850 millibars, cannot strengthen out the top, mostly because it's dry air getting into this system that's in front of it, blowing out the tops. So as it comes by weaker, it will go underneath this trough because the trough pulling is way higher altitudes. So if it don't grow in strength, this trough and this ridge will not pull it north. It will travel further west, get tore up by these mountains, and if it don't turn yet, as it goes further to the west, because we had this before, all the higher elevations of Cuba will continue to tear into this system and keep it weak, and it could travel even further. Maybe even be a threat going into the southeast of the Gulf of Mexico, maybe turning right by the Bahamas. It's still unknown yet. Matter of fact, when you look at the GPS, which is another American model, it's showing you with the control, remember this black line right here, that it will go a little northern of the Hispaniola, and it will go by Cuba, weaken down because of the land interaction, go all the way to the Bahamas, and you see how it wants to turn. That's what the Canadian sees as well. But it goes to the west, over Florida, and more than likely into the Gulf of Mexico. Exact same thing, almost, that the Canadian is seeing. So please do not listen to somebody, they tell you the Gulf is out of play. It is not out of play yet. We do not know where this system is going past 3 days. We hope it don't have any land interactions, especially lower 48. There's still a chance, it's still possible. So let me give you a couple of examples of what we had here before. This is Tropical Storm Fred in August of 2021. Predicted to go this way in the cone in 3 days, and in 5 days be right here. And this was Advisory 6. And by August 13th, Advisory 18, look how much it has changed with the cone. It has weakened down, going over Hispaniola, Cuba, strengthened back up, became a tropical storm in the Gulf. And that's why I'm telling you, don't take this cone as set in stone. This cone will move. It will shift as National Hurricane Center gets more confidence in the data that they do receive. But Fred got back into the Gulf of Mexico, very warm waters. Right now they're high 80s, even into the 90s. And it formed right back up, strengthened up, and went towards Florida, bringing heavy amounts of rainfall. And not just on Florida. This storm affected the Carolinas greatly. Most of these storms has affected so many people and so many lives, and they were expected to turn already. So don't take this cone as set in stone. Then as we had Tropical Storm Fred, Tropical Storm Grace was right behind it on the same path, right where we see this next wave going as well. Here's another example. We had Tropical Storm Erica, and this was the first initial cone that they gave them. It was the first advisory. It was Tropical Storm Erica 2015, the 3-day and the 5-day. 3 days later, they updated a cone, advisory number 10, to where it's going this way now with a chance for a hurricane for this whole area. Then by the 25th, advisory 14, they changed a cone again to where it's going right towards Florida the whole trip. And then by August 28th, advisory 17, it moves again further left into our Gulf. So initially it was right here just like we have now. Eventually it moved over That's why I'm telling you this cone is not set in stone now. We're just getting started, guys. And that's why I also say if somebody tells you this will not go into the Gulf, don't listen to them. They're either trying to get on your good side or they don't know. And if they show you data and information, that's another fact. But just tell you, hey, this ain't doing this, don't believe them. Your life is at risk. So according to National Hurricane Center, here we are in 24 hours. As we get this cold front coming down, we get this trough. And this trough will either carry it on a ridge up north because this high pressure is expanding back. In 48 hours, you see the high pressure has expanded back. So that would twirl this system in this direction. But in 72 hours, you can see it really expands back while you get this trough with this high ridge. Now, if it goes fast, like the Euro is showing, the stronger the system, the more it be higher in elevation with its storms. Once it gets to that 10,000 feet, right where the jet stream and everything's pulling around, it will pull this system along this high ridge and pull it away. That is a fact. If it does not stay strong and it stays weak, it will not be pulled up because it will not be that high in elevation. It will sneak under this trough, travel further west. So let's look at all the deterministic models and see what they are saying and what the difference is. But the Canadian is showing you still get a lot of precipitation over in northern Leeward Islands, going towards Puerto Rico, going towards Hispaniola, but the high elevations of these mountains tear it up, weakens down, travels to the west, and you can see that curve to the north, just like it's shown in National Hurricane Center, just like GEFS is showing that it curves to the north, but gets carried further to the west. Bam. Goes west right by the Bahamas, right by Florida and Florida Keys, and so far going into our Gulf still. But with the information we have this morning showing it won't be too strong as it goes by Puerto Rico, as it goes by Dominican Republic, is then it starts strengthening up after it gets away from all these high mountains. Look at that. Makes it go weak. It tries to strengthen up, goes over to Cuba Mountains. Higher elevation tears it up a little bit more. Then it starts going north, this trough trying to pull it to the north on the ridge, and it misses the trough. So then it goes further to the west, strengthens up to a hurricane in our Gulf. This has been consecutive day after day. Everybody that's been on my channel has seen this. This has not changed. The GFS has just gone plumb crazy. Last night it took it further south. This morning it shows you it's going to turn right before Puerto Rico and just head out. And the latest on the Euro, it shows it does strengthen up to a tropical storm, just like National Hurricane Center is saying, but it's further to the south. The winds and the rain amounts has changed. That's why I said I will update you this afternoon. Something like this needs to be updated pretty often, so make sure you subscribe to get those updates. It shows it goes towards Hispaniola a little bit further south, but it keeps its strength. While it goes over Hispaniola, the higher elevations don't tear it up too much according to the Euro. And that's exactly what National Hurricane Center has. National Hurricane Center has exactly what the Euro is saying. Not saying that it's right, not saying that it's wrong, but they're going just by the Euro because usually the Euro is a very accurate model. Now, as it goes by the Bahamas, we are already 6, almost 7 days away. Way too far. We don't know what's going to happen in 4 to 5 days. However, the latest outcome shows that it will be this trough in this high ridge, according to the Euro, and then high ridge will pull it out. So just within the next 5 days, we look at the NASA satellite that goes. And you see how it goes right over northern Leeward Islands, right by Puerto Rico, and it heads a little northern by Dominican Republic. And that is the original forecast from National Hurricane Center. But according to NASA satellite, it will continue to travel west, try and strengthen up, but stay weak all the way through this process. And within 5 days, be right below the Bahamas, in between the Bahamas and Cuba, still going west. Staying weak the whole time, getting disrupted, trying to strengthen up by Hispaniola, getting disrupted by the higher elevation of the mountains, really knocks it down to nothing, an upper level low. Tries to strengthen back up, goes by Cuba. Cuba tears it up as well, stays weak the whole time through its path. And at the same time, you can see you still got all this high pressure right here, cycling this to the west. So this is not over by a long shot. Do not believe the first cone that National Hurricane Center gives you. But since you're going to be affected first, let's go by the first few days of what's going on with the Leeward Islands, Puerto Rico, and so on. And remember, I will keep this updated, so make sure y'all subscribe. That first group of thunderstorms will bring y'all a half an inch possibly of rainfall for the northern Leeward Islands. But as Tropical Storm Fiona comes through, it's going to bring heavier rainfall, and you can see how literally within the next 4 days, that's within 4 days right there, and this is subject to change. Yesterday it was all over this island. This morning it is more southern with all the heavy precipitation. Still bringing a lot of rainfall, possible flooding towards Puerto Rico and the Leeward Islands. Please be safe. As it continues to go by Hispaniola, bringing a lot of heavy rainfall. Now Haiti has a lot of trees that they got rid of, so they have a lot of chances also for these mudslides. So it's not going to just be Puerto Rico, Leeward Islands. Dominican Republic has a big threat with this as well. And so far showing a lot of strength. This is your 10-meter winds. And so far it has it up into the high 40s as it passes by northern Leeward Islands. All that red is 40 miles per hour winds. So you definitely have 30 and 40 miles per hour winds as you go into Friday evening. And then it moves towards Puerto Rico. A little bit less winds. You still got the 30s, and the 40s is on the south side. Now this is according to the Euro. The Euro is moving it a day sooner. The Euro has it right here by Saturday. GFS is showing it still by northern Leeward Islands by Saturday. And with the wind gusts, it'll be bringing also high 50 miles per hour wind gusts to the northern Leeward Islands as it travels by Puerto Rico. Southern Puerto Rico will be getting all these 40 and 50 miles per hour wind gusts. Not all of Puerto Rico, but all of Puerto Rico is getting a lot of rainfall as it goes towards Hispaniola. And tracking just a full 5 days with the Euro, you can see how it starts to do that curve and starts bringing heavy precipitation towards the eastern island of Hispaniola. So just be aware, Dominican Republic, you have a lot of rainfall coming as well. And the wind gusts start to really pick up once it goes by Puerto Rico. That's always been the trend. It strengthens as it passes Puerto Rico, bringing 60 and 70 miles per hour wind gusts towards southern island of Hispaniola now. So it is starting to show strength. For this morning, it shows it could curve towards the Bahamas and go to the 40 and 50 miles per hour wind gusts for Turks and Caicos and the Bahamas as well. This is subject to change. We don't know what's going to happen past 3 days, nevertheless past 5 days. And you can see with the 10-meter winds that it does break up. It does fall apart by Dominican Republic right as it strengthens up, gets pulled to the north, then it runs over the island, gets tore up by these mountains, and it stays pretty weak as it travels to the west. Now this is still too far to tell, but I'm still showing you that it's still traveling to the west. It's not turning on that sharp curve to the north, guys. Now the update this morning shows it will be by the western Bahamas as we go towards 8 days away. Still too far away, but by Thursday, next Thursday, we're still talking about this system. So as you look for chances with tropical depression with the Euro, you can see as it strengthens up and it goes a little bit of a northern as it goes over Dominican Republic, and then it goes further to the west, and the Euro has it to where it could either go out on this high ridge out to the Atlantic, or it could still travel to the west, northwest, towards the Bahamas, going towards Florida or the southeast of the U.S. Canadian sees this as well. Matter of fact, it takes it a little bit sooner of a turn than what the Euro is showing to the north. And it makes a big difference for it not to be higher in the elevations, being a strong system. A shorter system, a weaker system will go under that trough, under that pull to that ridge. And the Canadian is showing it will go further to the west. It could go northern. You see how it could go northern right there, or western. Canadian is still favoring the western push, going over the southeast of the U.S. Matter of fact, just going by the model data, the control member of the Euro shows it will travel all the way to in between Cuba and Florida as an upper level low, as a weak system. This is what we've been seeing for days now. It will be weak, strengthen up late. That's what it's showing in the control member for the Euro. Then it shows it will go over Florida, strengthen up over the southeast, and possibly going towards the Carolinas, towards the northeast. So there's a lot of changes out there when you literally need to take this 3 days at a time. I will keep you updated every afternoon, and I will post every day. But thank you so much for visiting my channel. I appreciate it, every single one of you. May God bless you and your families and keep y'all safe. during these times. But like I said so many times, I will keep you updated as often as possible. I will update again this afternoon. So help share this information. If you like the information, if it has helped you in any way, consider leaving a like. Help support the video. But if you're feeling stressed through all these times, which I know a lot of you are, don't worry. God is in control. Deuteronomy 31, 1 through 8. And Moses went and spake these words unto all Israel. And he said unto them, I am 120 years old this day. I can no more go out and come in. Also the Lord hath said unto me, Thou shalt not go over this Jordan. The Lord thy God, he will go over before thee, and he will destroy these nations from before thee, and thou shalt possess them. And Joshua, he shall go over before thee, as the Lord hath said. And the Lord shall do unto them as he did to Sihon and to Og, kings of the Amorites, and unto the land of them whom he destroyed. And the Lord shall give them up before your face, that ye may do unto them according unto all the commandments which I have commanded you. Be strong and of good courage. Fear not, nor be afraid of them. For the Lord thy God, he it is that doeth go with thee. He will not fail thee, nor forsake thee. And Moses called unto Joshua and said unto him in the sight of all Israel, Be strong and of good courage. For thou must go with this people unto the land which the Lord hath sworn unto their fathers to give them, and thou shalt cause them to inherit it. And the Lord, he it is that doeth go before thee. He will be with thee. He will not fail thee, neither forsake thee. Fear not, neither be dismayed. Amen. God walks before us, guys. He knows what we have. He knows what we need. Just pray to him. Ask him to keep you and your loved ones, even your enemies, safe. Pray for everybody. But fear not. All power, all glory does go to Yahweh, God of Jacob, our Father. And he says, fear not. He walks before you. He will not forsake you. Ever. Amen. Hallelujah. I'll see y'all this afternoon.